Afternoon, America. Brian James Blam here, and welcome to a sunset on the border while I cook a steak and some red bell pepper episode of What the Fuck's Up. It's been a little while, so I apologize. What do I want to talk to you about today? I'm going to talk about 1913. 1913 is a critical year in the history of the United States. That's the year the United States no longer was a republic. That's the year it became basically an empire. And there are two reasons for that. One would be the 16th Amendment, which was the income tax, and the other would be the 17th Amendment. The 17th Amendment was added to the United States Constitution in 1913 during that progressive era, and it calls for the direct popular election of U.S. senators. U.S. senators, let's talk about Congress. What is Congress? Congress is a bicameral legislative institution. And by bicameral, I mean that there are two houses. There are two separate chambers. The House of Representatives and the Senate. Now, the founding fathers, when they created Congress, when they drafted the Constitution, they said, let's make the House of Representatives beholden to the people, right? Beholden to the people. They are responsive to the needs and the will of the people. And the Senate, let's make the Senate beholden to the states. Because after all, it was the states who were the signatories to the United States Constitution, right? They are the ones who collectively got together and created the United States of America, the United States federal government. So the states should have some say in what the United States federal government is doing and is up to. But what happened? The 17th Amendment changed that. It made senators beholden to the same people that members of the House of Representatives are beholden to. And that is, they are directly elected by the people of each state, right? Now, when the Constitution was drafted, the Founding Fathers had some very, very keen ideas with respect to limiting power, to creating separations and balances of power in the United States Constitution so that not one group of people could become overly powerful, right? And so they thought, well, you know, to make legislation possible, we'll have a House of Representatives, right? That will give the impetus to legislation on behalf of the people, on behalf of the United States of America. But we will also create a Senate that is a check on the power of the House, right? Why would you want to check on the power of the people? Pure democracy, folks, can be vile, it can be evil. If you have 9 people and in your community and you're a pure democracy, those 9 people could get together and say, hey, let's have a vote. Let's say that the losers of this vote, right, we're going to take all of their stuff and we're going to send them into re-education camps, whatever. And 5 people vote for this to happen, and 4 people say, no, this is wrong. And so those 4 people would lose all their stuff and be sent to a re-education camp. That's pure democracy, folks. Pure democracy. The majority wants your stuff, they're going to take it, right? That is not good. Look at Latin America. Latin America historically has been so unstable because it shifts between extremes, right? The masses want this and they take it. And that's part of the problem, folks. And so the Senate was beholden to the states. Thomas Jefferson referred to this as sort of, you got your hot tea and you pour it into a saucer known as the Senate, and you let it cool so that you have time to think about it, right? That was basically our bicameral legislature and how they arranged things. That changed in 1913. And so what do congressmen now? It doesn't matter whether, the House, the Senate. It doesn't matter whether it's Lisa Murkowski up in Alaska or if it's Senator Cowley down here in Arizona. Those two, one a Republican, one a Democrat, there's no difference between them, right? If they were to pass a budget, they might argue over $10 billion. But our government is so out of control with spending and waste. $10 billion, folks, is just a drop in the bucket. It's meaningless. It doesn't do anything. It has no effect. And so there's really no difference between Murkowski and Kelly. They both want the same thing. They want to keep this system that we've got. What does this system give them the ability to do? There was an interesting guy named Alex de Tocqueville, I think it is. I might be wrong with the last name. But he was wandering the United States in the mid-1800s, and he had some very, very important observations about the United States. And one of them that I like the most is that he said, when members of Congress figure out how to bribe the public with the public's money, then America will cease to be a republic. This is exactly what the 16th Amendment gave to members of Congress. And then when we popularized senators, when we brought them in for a vote of the people per se, rather than choosing them through the state legislative bodies, we created a system where they bribe you folks. We have what's known as a marginal tax rate, right? And so if you make X amount, you pay this tax rate. If you make Y amount, you pay this tax rate. If you make Z amount, you pay that tax rate. What does Congress do? I heard Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, talking about this on Twitter the other day. And what was he saying? Oh yeah, let's not give these rich people, billionaires, a tax cut. Let's give these people a tax cut, right? He is playing you. He's playing you. We need to get rid of the 16th Amendment, folks. We need to get rid of the United States income tax because it gives Congress the ability to conquer and divide the American people. And that is exactly what they have used it for. Now, in the very beginning, populism gave rise to the 16th and the 17th Amendment, and it was all about, the people, don't worry about it. This will not apply to normal people, right? Don't worry about it. It's only for the rich. That's what they always tell you, folks. It's only for the rich. But when push comes to shove, folks, Congress, Mark Kelly, Lisa Murkowski, both of them were involved. The Biden administration inflated every American into higher and higher tax brackets during his 4-year regime. They inflated you into higher tax brackets, and now they're talking about, let's give this group a tax cut, let's give that group a tax cut, let's give this group a little tax cut. We want to get the rich, we want to soak the rich. America, when they inflate you into higher tax brackets, they are making you the rich. They are making you the people they want to tax. They are playing you for fools. And it's time we stopped letting them play us for fools. And with that, my steak is almost done. So I'm going to go eat it. And I wish you all a wonderful night. And I say peace.